My friends, you can't read about push-ups. You have to do them. You can't read or listen to what I'm saying. You have to do it.
The thing that will speed you up in the thing that you want to accomplish, no question, is you've got to become religious about your audience.
I'm desperate for everybody here to understand that they're a media company, that you should be putting out content, not commercials, information. Not commercials, information. Put out all your best advice for free, you will make way more money than holding it in for the people that pay you. Put out all your best information for free and watch how your business grows, because there is so much abundance. For the 39 people that decide not to pay you because they got what they needed from the free content, there's another 1,000 that now want to pay you out of the gratitude and guilt that you provided for them. It's true. Now, that's a model that works for people that are more talented. Like, talent is a variable. And by the way, you do whatever you want. I begrudge no style execution. I have no judgment for how people make their money. I'm just talking about what happens when something like the internet comes along and the real estate is super cheap. The attention of humans right now is the same way I feel about Manhattan 300 years ago. It was a good deal. That's it. And people are gonna amass it and have it, and they're gonna be able to monetize on it forever. And that is what the big opportunity is. And the execution within it is very, very simple. The reason I don't want to spend as much time with it, but I'm happy to do it in Q&A and start raising your hands. So like, raise your hands if you have a question, we'll start going around. The reason I don't want to go deep into the execution is because you have something called Google. Like, how do I run an Instagram ad in New Zealand for a lawyer? Enter. There's a fucking result. Right? So it's the thesis, it's the mindset of like, the reason I started with post, so many of you are not posting. So many of you posted once, somebody said something nasty and you stopped posting. I need to get you out of that. Because if I don't, then you won't post. And then the game is over.
Hi, Jasper Basson here. I just wanted to remind you about the Daily Entrepreneur Tips series. It's a business growth series for entrepreneurs and contains financial information and also information to grow you as a person and your business, because we will never grow our business any higher than we grow ourselves. So click on the link below and I will send you daily information to grow you as a person and your business, and it's for 365 days of the year.
Like, how to post. Your talent is your talent. If you have nothing good to say, it's only going to play out so much. But if you're not even starting, it's game over. So you need to understand why you're not posting, and you need to understand what's actually happening right now. This is the single greatest era to be a human being ever. You need to take advantage of it. If you're not winning during this era, we got big fucking problems. It's real good. It just is. Everything's playing out in one place, the internet. And the internet breaks down into like 7 or 10 meaningful sites. Right now, the information sits on LinkedIn, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. It's not super complicated. What's complicated is getting good at communicating on it. It's a skill. You have to respect the context. You have to make 100 pieces of content. Here's why. You want to sell a home? You make one video? Do you think that every woman and every man in here are going to see it the same way? Do you think a 22-year-old woman who makes $100,000 a year is going to see it the same way that a 49-year-old woman with 2 kids that makes $47,000 a year? We have these platforms that let us target people at a specific level that we've never seen before at scale. Anything you want to say to the world, you should minimally say it 13 times, because you have to context the audience that's seeing it. You have to say, when I do things globally, when I make a video and I say, hey, Mexico, you need to think about how you're doing influencer marketing. If I do that versus, hey, you need to think about how you're doing influencer marketing, and I post it to people in Mexico, it disproportionately does better. Not only do you have to make 100 pieces of content, you have to make 500 different segmentations in media and run it. Here's the good news. Everything I just said sounds hard as fuck and tedious as shit, right? But here's the secret. Everything great should be hard. Like if you want to reap the massive benefits of this golden era, you should put in the work. Facebook and Instagram ads in this market specifically, and in Australia and in Southeast Asia, is remarkably underpriced. Every single person here should be running Facebook and Instagram ads, regardless of what your business is, B2B, 60-year-old target. You have to understand, you have to make it work for your audience. When you make a video, my highest conversion rates right now are on Facebook individuals that are 55 to 75. Why? Because they go through their feeds slower because they're old. Being serious. It's not, it's just true, which is great. The font's big as shit. It just works. It's where their attention is. Your grandma's on Facebook. She's spewing her political views and throwing up photos from 1937. It's fucking amazing. I really, really want to leave here with two core things. One, get people in the framework of understanding what's actually happening, which is this will go away. This amazing era will go away. It did before. I built my dad's business on email and Google AdWords. I had no money. I didn't raise capital. I didn't hit the lottery. I had no money. We had a business doing $3.6 million in sales, $3.8 million in sales on 10% gross profit. $380,000 before expenses. My biggest thing is just not playing within the vortex of anything or anybody else's opinions. Do you know how much cynicism I met with? My advice is be inside your own head. I always say, I don't hear you. I don't hear the compliments. People, when I say I don't hear you, tune it out, people think it's the hate. It's equally the compliments. People throw real compliments at me. It's really nice. But I just think it's being even keel. The truth will win. The truth will win. Bill Cosby's in jail. The truth will win. It's very easy for me to believe that. If you're doing the right thing, if the right things are happening, you're just gonna navigate and it's gonna play out. It doesn't matter what the media or the comments or your mother say. I just believe that. Because it also depends what game you're playing. You also get to define the rules of your game as a person. I want to be the greatest entrepreneur of this generation. I conveniently decided that the definition of that is not only somebody who makes the most money, but makes the biggest impact on all the other entrepreneurs. Right? So, thank you, but it's actually a very funny thing. It's fuck, I don't think I can make more than Bezos, so let me change the rules. And that's what I think the answer for you is. You have to make the rules within yourself. It doesn't matter what the outside forces are bringing to the table. Does that make sense? Yeah. It's what people struggle with is it's easy to give advice until it hits you, right? Yes. But I live that truth. I really don't hear it. I know what I'm up to and I'm executing it. I'll let the chips fall where they may. If you are a vibrant, active, ambitious human being, which there is zero reason for you to be at this conference if you're not. Zero. And you do not, for yourself or your company, produce in the ballpark of 7 to 25 different pieces of content across 3 to 9 different platforms a day, you are making a fundamental mistake. And I'm gonna say it again, because when you're talking about 25 pieces of content a day, in a world where 98% of this room is not making 25 pieces of content a year, we have a very big disconnect between where I sit on this and where you sit on this. I am giving this talk for one reason, because D-Rock is filming it, and I'm gonna air it in a decade on whatever the current platform is when it has been completely accepted that everything I just said was 100% right. I have zero interest of you actually taking the advice I just shared. I don't know you. I've got my own problems. I'd prefer it, I can't, I have to go, I'm speaking at Harvard tomorrow, so I have to go. I have a couple more meetings here, and I gotta go Dallas to Boston. I land at 1:40 in the morning, and on those kind of flights, I like reading the emails of you saying, hey, I saw you in Mobile in 2020, it's now imaginary 2023. I finally listened. I was passionate about X, Y, and Z. I did do an Instagram account or a podcast or a YouTube show, and now 3 years later, this happened. I love that. That is the big win for me in this room. But you won't. You won't. And I know that because I've lived this life now for a while. You know, what is more likely is you're gonna email me in 6 years and say, I wish I did, because this happened. Because I was the leading lawyer in town, and this other person who's not even, the emails are funny, right? Gary, they come in all shapes and forms. Gary, I wish I listened to you. And you start reading it, because I want the qualitative feedback to learn, right? Heard you 4 years ago at the Atlanta Business Summit. You said the thing. I didn't believe you. I thought you were loud and obnoxious. I'm not cursing today because Nagy asked me, but you cursed. It turned me off. I'm a Jersey boy. Meanwhile, this upstart kid, he listened to you, and then my favorite line no matter what it is, lawyer, doctor, real estate, he's not even good at being a lawyer, but he's killing it on Facebook and he's hurting my business. What do I do now? And I smile. I smile the same way that I saw some of the kids on the field yesterday that didn't go with Vayner Sports, that we know we were in the final two with them and they went in a different direction. I see them, I root for them. I'm a kind person, my mom did a good job, but I'd be lying to you if I didn't say when I look at their faces, I smile knowing they made the wrong decision. Because I love merit, I love sports. You either make the right move or you don't. I've already won by articulating my thoughts here today. Either you're gonna actually use this talk as the final piece to actually get out there and finally do this, because you cannot be in this room and not know what I'm saying is actually right. Or you're not, and then you lose, and then I get to see you, because they're both good. I did it or I didn't do it. I both enjoy, because I actually love the merit of the game. I mean that. So, I hope you do it. I don't need you to do it. As a matter of fact, I'll get really technical on you. A lot of my smartest friends always ask me why I do this, because if these people start making content and start running ads, it's gonna be harder for you to build what you're building, Gary, and they're right. The feed of Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, it's just one feed. It's just supply and demand. If all of you start posting, that's just more content, less attention, less opportunity for me to build what I'm building. For me, everyone's always looking for, it's amazing. They want the answer, and then when you give it to them, they want to push against it. It's right in your face. I highly recommend you start auditing and spend 5 to 10 hours on TikTok, consume. You'll see plenty of dumb shit, plenty of lipping and dancing and music, but be thoughtful. Search your hashtags and see what's in there. This takes work. I spend all my hours listening. It seems like I'm always talking. It's because I spend every second you don't see me listening. I watch. Those 3 observations are tried and true. I will, as you know, how many people here consume my content? Thank you. I will, like you've seen me do, replay this exact video in 9 years, basically with a headline of, Brizzy, I fucking told you, why didn't you do it? This is what's going to happen. So please heed those 3 opportunities and get educated. Look, why the fuck are you here? Like, if you're here for some reason, which is, I assume, you want something good to happen after you fucking allocated this day. For me, if you've allocated this time, which I'm so humbled by, to listen to this information, I'm desperate to figure out how to get you to do something with the information. To be in a place where you want more for yourself, whatever that may be, happiness, dollars, I don't get to judge, you do you. Please do the 10 hours of work that I just asked you to do to actually read and watch on those 3 executions and do something. My friends, you can't read about push-ups. You have to do them. You can't read or listen to what I'm saying. You have to do it. And that's what got me over the last 3 years into this part of it. I couldn't understand 5 or 6 years ago when I was handing you the keys why you weren't driving that car. And what I ended up realizing was it was all up here. There's a stunning amount of fear in this room about putting out content. How you look, what you're gonna say, what are the comments gonna say? Just a crippling amount of inaction because of the fear of people's opinions that you don't even know. And even worse, opinions of the people you love the most. And so for me, that has become an incredibly important place for me to focus on. So for me, I just have no interest in being half pregnant. I have no interest in being stuck in the middle. There's only two things for me. The macro, which is, why are you living your life based on other people's opinions? And then the micro, what are the tactics, the individual executions that actually get you to what you want? The biggest thing that I would love for this room to start doing is to start really thinking about the notion of being great at producing written words, audio, and video per the 10 platforms so that it's contextual to the platform.
If you're not crushing it right now as an entrepreneur, you suck. This is the easiest era ever to be winning, and you have to contextualize that. So a couple things. You might just start now and you're only 3 months in, you didn't have time to crush it. But fuck, if you've been trying to do it as an entrepreneur for the last 5.5 years and it's not clicking, you need to work for somebody. You wanna know what most people's vulnerability is? The reason I always win every time I enter something else, it's what can I do for you? And not the person that has 11 million, just the person that's right next to me, because karma and doing the right thing and kindness and being a fucking human always wins in the end. Always. It does. It does, because what you don't know is the person next to you may have 48 subscribers, but his aunt runs shit. And everybody here's jockeying and overthinking and politicking in their head, all from a selfish place, and all the magic sitting in the doing the right thing, saying hello, being patient, but most of all, the thing that will speed you up in the thing that you want to accomplish, no question, is you've got to become religious about your audience. Like, you have to become religious about your audience. Like, guys, honestly, straight up, if you're sitting in the crowd right now, it's unacceptable for you not to reply to the comments you get on your content. I don't know how, honestly, like, fuck it. Like, I'm just gonna go that literal with it. I don't like to do definitives things because that's just not how life is, but I'm just comfortable going there. It is actually fundamentally, grossly negligent and unacceptable for you to be in a place where you do not reply with a thank you or a heart or a meaningful, you read it and you meaningfully wrote something back to every single comment you have right now in whatever limited that is, because those 7 people are disproportionately the reason you're gonna get 17. And yet you're so worried about getting the next 10 that don't know you, you're giving no fucking love to the 7 that decided to watch your horse shit. That's my punchline, which is like, good behavior is in perpetuity. I do believe in the modern internet to create awareness for something you want, whether that's to raise money for a nonprofit or to sell glasses. I believe the volume of content is, because then you're able to contextualize it to your audience, is absolutely the leverage of the current state of consumer consumption. One's capability, financially, energy-wise, creatively, you know, but it's no different than saying run really fast. If you can run really, really fast, faster than anybody, you can win an Olympic gold medal and then make $25 million a year in sponsorship if that's what you choose, or live in a cave and say, I won a gold medal. I'm speaking to what I genuinely believe is the right strategy. You know, how one interprets that, you know, is really up to them. I don't think you have enough scale that you're reaching everybody. So to me, in a net game, I'd rather get 20% of my audience to get bored on seeing the same old thing, to give me the opportunity to consistently reach more people. Like, you know, there may not be enough differentiation through the documenting, but nobody's reaching even a fraction of the amount of people they could be. There are literally millions of people that are into entrepreneurship and business in America that have never heard my name. And I've gone at it hard for the last 10 years. At scale, at the tippy top of my game, and I think we'd all agree I'm out there. I have millions of Americans that are into entrepreneurship and business that have never heard my name. So that's something I believe. That has to map your ambition. Same with any brand, service, organization. You know, I think the fragmentation of attention across all these mediums has created a scenario where you can't have overexposure.
I shoot architectural photography and I post photos on Instagram. When one of my images gets stolen, and there's no credit given, they're using it for their own purposes. On one hand, I'm like, you son of a bitch, you stole my image. But on the other hand, I'm oddly grateful that my work is good enough to steal. Do you draw a line
Nope.
somewhere there? No?
I draw a line and I like thank God you have the second part, and now I will try to suffocate you in perpetuity to not give a shit about the first part. People spend all their time on defense, and that's why they lose. What are you gonna chase them down? What are you gonna spend 9 hours trying to figure out where that person lives and not call them? Like, what the fuck are you gonna do? You know what I would do? If it's bothering you so much, leave a comment on that post and be like, yo bro, thanks so much for using my image. And never worry about somebody stealing your image. Because stealing images in a 2019 internet world is different than 1974 in print form.
Take 5 hours. It's not a lot of time. And please understand that shifts are happening very quickly, and it is super cliche why people lose because they don't adapt to current market behaviors, not because they're not smart, but because you started making a couple of bucks and you don't want it to go away. Guys, the quickest way to go out of business is to be romantic about how you make your money. It's a big deal. You know, you can have rah-rah, you can have balloons or whatever the hell you guys were throwing up here, rock music, give awards, paper checks. That's all fine and dandy. You know what's way more interesting? The market. The market is doing its thing and it's happening fast. And you can get very confused very quickly because normally when you're playing arbitrage, because that's what so many of you are playing, normally when you play arbitrage, here's what it looks like. And what I mean by arbitrage, just to make sure I'm giving clarity, is you're playing conversion based, right? You're buying ads for this, you're converting that, it's just math. You're buying these leads for that, whatever it is, whether it's affiliate or Google or Facebook, it doesn't matter, it's just quant, right? It's just math, right? Here's how those businesses look for all time, not today. And so I come here with empathy and try to get people to understand that you have to pay attention to where consumers' attention's going. Where technology is going is more scary for a lot of people in here that are not in the branding and marketing business and are in the conversion business. And again, conversion business, you know, you're buying ads that lead to whatever you're selling, supplements, masterminds, ebooks, whatever the hell you're doing, it's all that. And let me tell you why. Because starting with this, remember that, TiVo? When that happened, everything changed. Watch this. This is for my own personal gratification. How many people in this room, when now watching television, watch it on their time, meaning outside of live sports, TiVo, DVR, Netflix, when a show airs, you don't watch it, you watch it when you have time. Raise your hand, everybody. How many of you, when given the option, fast forward every single commercial? Everybody. My clients at VaynerMedia, Unilever, Pepsi, Turner, Toyota, all the biggest brands in the world spend $80 billion making commercials and then distributing them, and not a soul in America's watching them. And even if they get lucky enough that you see it because you're in bed and your remote control falls off your bed, even if that happens, every person in this room grabs their phone and checks their work,
checks their Instagram, sends a tweet, and then they sell you on this bullcrap that, but sports is still the last holy grail, right? Meanwhile, the highest engagement on Twitter spikes always are during commercial time of big sporting events, because everybody wants a tweet about Steph Curry's half-court shot, right? So while that mountain goes up this hill, or that cute girl tries to sell you a soda, you're paying attention to this, not that.